SEO is not easy in the sense of we snap our fingers and it's done, but it can be simple because it is a protocol, and I'm going to talk about it today. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a clinic management software built to help you focus on what matters most, your patients. Building rapport with your patients is important during appointments, and that can be challenging when you're also trying to take timely and detailed documentation. That's why Jane built AI Scribe to help you document important information without the manual note-taking. This feature transforms your sessions, seriously, it's amazing, into chart entries, and all you have to do is review your notes, sign the chart, and you're done. And since security is a top priority at Jane, seriously, it is so important to them. AI Scribe was built securely in-house to be fully HIPAA and PIP EDA compliant. With a tool you can trust, Jane helps you spend more time on patient care. To learn more about how Jane can help change how you feel about documentation, head to meet.jane.app/documentation to book a demo or sign up. And if you're ready to go, don't forget to use my code LEX1MO for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. And if you're curious about AI Scribe, I highly recommend you go ahead and take a demo with Jane because I saw it in action and it is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am recording for you today, Sunday. You'll be hearing this tomorrow, Monday. Have spent the weekend watching volleyball in person. One of the Hermosa Open came to the town nearby here. And so we were there basically all weekend. I had volleyball as always on Saturday morning and then spent the weekend there. As always, I'll give you a couple more personal stuff, business stuff, and then we're going to jump right in because I want to make sure I get to the meat of this episode quickly. So any other things? I feel like updates on the whole functional medicine stuff. So met with the facility. They confirmed what I already kind of had a suspicion of, which is great. And also most of my blood work is just, I'm going to use the word great. I will say that all of the alarming stuff is not present. My thyroid hormones are better than they were before. And like, if you're familiar with like my situation, I basically I was not in a good place in 2022, early 2023 was when I was meeting with them and my blood work looked completely different. It was basically like a early warning for being pre-diabetic. And then also, which is wild to me because I still can't how. And then the other part that was tough was I had a marker that was basically like if the normal was 100, my value was like 400. So it was like an autoimmune marker. And then my thyroid hormones were fine, but it was basically like a warning of you could be diagnosed with Hashimoto's and then need to go on thyroid hormones, blah, 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 blah. But I am not on any sort of thyroid medication. And my thyroid hormones are better right now, which I'm not surprised by that. And I can do like a whole episode on why I'm not surprised about that, but not right now. But just for what it's worth, it's nice to have some answers. There were some things that came back positive that are just like let's treat it and be done with it solution. So that's good. And like my body has been fighting off there's been fighting things for the past, 6 or 7 months. So hopefully after those things are taken care of, they are fought, they are done, then I will be able to just feel better overall. And also just my body will be more resilient. That will be very nice. Business stuff, no real big updates. There's a lot in my brain of I should talk about this, talk about that. But the biggest thing for me is was chatting with Shantae probably 2 weeks ago ish. And I was just like, I just need to cut off work. And what I mean by that is like, I need to have my work hours and be done. And actually someone who does this from the outside, I don't know her personally, but it seems like Annie Miller's really good with this. Like she has 2 kids and she has work hours, it's 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is. And like she works during that period and then she's done with work. Like she does not work past that period. Now she's on socials and what have you. And I don't know how she manages that side of things. But for me, I'm like, I need to just have like on and off hours. And I've been trying to be a lot better with that the last 2 weeks, and that's been good. One of the biggest changes I made was, I'm not sure who else uses the focus settings on iPhone, but what I did was I actually set up a personal and a work focus mode. So the focus modes are essentially like when I'm on my personal focus, anything work related doesn't show in my notifications and I don't get notified. I don't have notifications on and I never did. However, it would pop up in my lock screen. So if I was not working and I didn't have a notification on, if I went to unlock my phone, I would see things from work in my lock screen, which is annoying because then I'm like, it alerts my brain to something from work and then down the rabbit hole. And I'm like, oh, I should just go address it now. So I'm being better about that for my own sake and health and what have you. So I have those personal settings now and personal and work settings. So I only get work notifications and it's not even a notification. It just shows up in my lock screen. So I will see alerts from work in my lock screen during work time. And then when I'm not working, the only time I will see it is when I go back and it turns to work mode again. And then I will see the past notifications there. So I'm just making a point of checking my various work apps when I get to work in the morning, which I'm like, yes, we all deserve this and we all should be able to do this. And so I've been like a little bit lax on it. Still like very boundary heavy. Like I do have a lot of boundaries around work and like how I respond on Instagram and like the questions I will answer there versus a coaching call, like lots of boundaries. However, it was just like the notifications from either current clients or one-off clients outside of work hours that were just, it wasn't bothering me. It was just like alerting me to work outside of work. And I wanted to stop it. So how I did that was I just changed the focus settings on my phone and it's been really good and I'm really happy about it. Okay. I think that's all I want to jump into work-wise. There's some stuff that we can talk about after the SEO School launch is over, but I really want to talk to you about some stuff regarding SEO School and also the ads that I'm running for my SEO crash course. I think it's important and it directly relates into what I'm going to talk about today. So SEO School will open to the wait list on September 22nd. So September 22nd, the waitlist enrollment will open. It will close on September 26th, and then public enrollment will be September 29th to October 5th, and October 3rd, excuse me. And that will be the only enrollment for the fall cohort of SEO School. It will also be the only cohort in which it's priced at its current rate. So what I did was the course was X amount. And then I am currently refilming, redoing all the modules, reorganizing everything. And for this specific cohort, I'm doing my early adopter rate. So essentially what that means is you get the lowest rate that it will be. And then the rate for the course is actually going to increase for, perpetually. And deciding how I want to move forward with it, it may be open for enrollment rolling, or I may still only do cohorts. I have not decided that yet, but what I do know is that the price is going to be going up to full price after this launch. So the way that I'm looking at it is this program is completely, it literally could come with zero support and you would have everything you need just because of I've taken in the last 8 cohorts of questions and Q&A calls and anything that's come up as a concern and have rebuilt it so that essentially no stone is left unturned. And you could take this course and be completely set without having any support, but I do not feel like that's the best case. I always feel like having the support throughout the cohort is key. And I'm going to run the calls a little bit differently this next cohort. I'm going to have a little bit more of, I don't want to say a task list, but like things that I'm going to make sure I cover on the live calls that just complement the program, not to add to it. So it's not new content, but it will be content that allows you to implement on the calls as well. A little bit different and also easy, but just not the same as what it is now, which is why the structure and the pricing is all going to be changing, as well as the resources you're getting within the course, another big change. So with that being said, the point of today's episode is to talk about how SEO is actually a protocol. And I think a lot of us in the healthcare realm, we are so familiar with the term "it depends" that we just kind of like, it depends. And yes, absolutely, it does depend. There are a lot of things about SEO that do depend. Like, for instance, just a quick little, example of it depends is if you're located in New York City and you're located in rural America, it's likely going to be easier to come up on Google faster in rural America compared to New York City because there's less competition, right? It just makes sense. If there's 2 PTs in your town versus 15 physical therapists in your town or whatever profession you are, it should make sense that if you are just starting out and doing SEO work, it's going to be difficult to come up in New York City compared to rural America. Does not mean impossible by any means, but it's just going to be more difficult. So when someone asks, how long is it going to take? My answer is, it depends, right? It depends on your competition. It depends on who else is doing work in your area, because another example is if there are 2 let's just say nutrition coaches. If there are 2 nutrition coaches in the same town, or just, I'm going to use online as well. Don't forget, because this also works for online businesses. If there is one person who's doing a shitload of SEO work, and then there's you who just started and is doing none, it's obviously going to depend how long it takes you to rank, because that other person is doing work, right? They're doing the active work. So how long will it take you? Well, it's going to depend on how much the other people are doing. Can you surpass them? Can you not? Are you using a targeted approach? Yada, yada. So it does depend in some ways, and what blog posts and what content you should have on your website do depend based on the protocols and principles you learn. So the protocol-based side, right? The protocol, the foundation of SEO, that is literally a checklist. It's a checklist. And it's something that is a protocol, foundational concept based that once you learn, you can implement. And not only that, but once you learn the foundation, it doesn't change. Like all of this stuff, even with AI coming out and being like, people are so wrapped up in how to rank in AI. Guess what? The same foundation for SEO is the foundation for ranking on something like ChatGPT. So it's all protocol driven, right? So once you learn the protocol, then you're able to implement the protocol. The it depends part of the entire protocol and implementing SEO is, what are you actually going to be implementing because of the protocol that you learn? Example, in the protocol, you need to know your ideal client. You need to know who they are, how you help them, the actual results that you get them. You need to know the questions that they're asking. Okay, so that's the protocol part. We figure that part out. The it depends part is now, how are we going to talk to that person? How we actually implement that, though, on our website, in our content, yada, yada, is a simple protocol. And when I say simple, I'm not saying it's easy. I don't want you to confuse that, but it is a checklist. And that's why, they're in this new curriculum. What I've done is I have developed a curriculum track, if you will, for this course. That is just tell me what buttons to press, tell me what to do. I don't care about the why type of protocol. And the reason I did that was because I actually was in a course and I was like, I don't really, the theory behind it, like I understand it, but I don't really care. I want the bottom line up front so I can start now, and then I'll go back and I will learn the theory while I'm implementing. Because I think that actually for some people that will be easier. So for this round and for perpetually ever and ever, what I've done is I've created a fast track, if you will, or a tell me what buttons to push route. So that way you can just start implementing. And then should you want all of the, this is why, this is how situation and all of the whys, and you can go learn you can go take the whole course. And the reason why that's not sold separately is because yes, I can tell you what buttons to push and what to do, but you're still going to want the full information, because if I only gave you the what buttons to push and then you had no resources to go ask questions, like for instance, if I said, go label this photo with X, Y, and Z, but then you're like, oh, wait, but what labeling a photo, what does that mean? And you want to go learn more about that. I don't want that to become a support question for me, right? So that's why it's only inside of the SEO School course, so that you have all of the information should you have a question. Because what would happen is that if you got the bottom line up front course and you didn't have the rest of SEO School, then what's going to happen is I'm going to get an email and people will say, well, you said to do this in this protocol and I did it and it's working, but like, how do I do this thing again? Or what's the next step? And it will end up becoming, once you start getting results, you'll want more information. And so because I know that that will be the case, I don't want that to be a separate offer, at least for right now. And I do not see that changing. But you will know if it ends up changing. So that's really all I wanted to dive into today, because it's important to me that anyone who's considering or even knows about SEO, I guess I shouldn't have said that's all I have. I have just been seeing, because I have been running ads. So if you have seen my ads, you've seen my SEO crash course coming up as an ad on Instagram or Facebook. I have been running those. What that has led to is I've seen a lot of other SEO or marketers SEO ads. So because I'm running the ad, my Instagram account is now tagged with show her every other ad that has to do with SEO. And I actually messaged my business coach and I was like, because I'm running an ad for what's called a slow offer. So it's a self-liquidating offer. So what that means is I'm putting a price tag behind it where I'm not trying to make money. The whole goal is to just break even. So that way I have more people who are exposed to my teaching and who are able to get the help that they need at a lower ticket, so lower price. And also, it's not me just giving away a free guide, because then you get people who are not necessarily ready to work with you or ready to spend money, or they just want the free thing and then they unsubscribe. And that works in some situations. I wasn't really interested in doing something like that. So I wanted to make sure it was something that was a paid offer. And so I'm doing this self-liquidating offer, this slow offer. So when it comes down to it, it has brought me into the realm of seeing everybody's SEO ads. And so I messaged my coach and I was like, hey, I actually don't think that what I do is built for an ad. And I could read the exact message I said to her, but I was like, the SEO is not sexy. It's not something that I can just, and I don't want to make it sexy by telling you a lie. And that's what I had said to her. I was like, I'm seeing everybody else's SEO ads. A lot of them are like bro marketers, which I roll. And a lot of them are telling people things, putting in their ads, things that are not true and things that are essentially promising you. And I hate the word like hook. Like we're going to hook them into like watching the rest of this video. It's the worst. I hate the term. But they will hook you, quote unquote, into watching the rest of it or to buy their program, get their free thing by telling you something that isn't necessarily true. So I said to her, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not within my value system. I don't want to change my ads to be more appealing by getting people to buy something because I told them something that's not the full truth in the ad. And she was, fully on board. She was like, absolutely. Like, you don't want to go against, what you believe in and like what's right in your morals in your ads just to, get someone to buy. And that's always been the case, obviously. So anyway, the point here is that I think it's really tough to know what to believe and who to listen to when it comes to this stuff. And also it's just really tough because it's one of those things where you don't know. And that's why one of the biggest goals of SEO School when I first developed it was to just educate around SEO, because I've seen so many people say, oh, I'm paying someone for SEO. I have no idea what they're doing. And I'm like, how do you not know what they're doing? Not because I fault you for not understanding the concepts, but because an agency already knows that you don't know what SEO is and like what goes into SEO, they don't feel the need to tell you what they're doing. And as long as you're paying them, they could literally be doing nothing and you wouldn't know the difference. So for me, I'm like, that sucks. I would never want, I mean, you can do what you want to do, but for me, I'm like, I would rather never have someone be in that situation where they don't know what someone's doing. So in the case of SEO School, I'm like, take SEO School. And if you decide to hire someone, at least you know red flags, you know who to walk away from, you know how to ask the questions, you know how to, ask for information about what's actually being done on your site or what's actually being done for you. And an example around that is I had someone who came onto a discovery call and they're like, I'm paying someone for SEO and I know that the content that they're writing me is not helping me. And like they went, because I had taken my SEO school and I was like, yeah, you are absolutely correct. So SEO School will also teach you how to, notice those red flags and know what you're talking about when it comes to SEO and like ask the questions and ask the people what they're doing. But the biggest thing for me is one, yes, learn red flags, learn more about it so you can then interact with people who are maybe selling you into it. Two, I just see a lot of things out there that are blatant lies and promising things that you can't promise. And I don't think that's fair to the consumer. And whether that's an ad or if it's just someone posting something, it's really frustrating to see. And everyone has their own, everyone, autonomy is great. I'm glad that people make their own choices. But if I can help essentially educate around that choice, then I would love to do so. And three, all of us within the healthcare medical field, we have a lot of situations where it depends. And we have a lot of places where we don't have a concrete answer or a concrete protocol and something that we can just implement and check the box. And SEO is that. And so if you want to lean on the fact that you know that you're going to have, if we use the word checklist or protocol, you have that thing, you know exactly what to do. And as long as you learn that and implement that, and then implement the rules and stay within the rules, and then use your protocol to tell you exactly what content to post, great. Like that to me is super valuable because now you're not just, throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And you're not just trusting some random person to do it for you and assume they're doing things that are good and doing things that will help you. Okay. I could go on forever and be on the soapbox of like, this is a great thing. And I hope that you understand it. But I know that if you're listening to this, you likely already know and you already are thinking about it or you have already done it and you're in the trenches of doing the thing. So just let me know if you have questions around SEO and I'd be happy to answer them. And then as always, we're sticking into SEO realm the next 2 weeks. Lord have mercy. Time is so fast. Because the SEO School launch will open to the waitlist only on September 22nd and then to the public on September 29th. So going to be sticking inside of SEO land until after that. And I'd love to answer your questions if you have any around it. Okay, friends, that's all I have for you. I hope you got a little bit of something out of this and I hope it alleviated any sort of like, if you were wondering whether it's, this big throw it in the air and like, it depends type of situation. It's not. It's a protocol. It's something you learn, you implement, and then you adjust accordingly, which is exactly what you'll learn how to do. All right, friends. That's all I have for you. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. I will catch you next time.